Welcome back to Psychology Demystified with me, Dr. Karen. If you are new to this channel, welcome. If you are a loyal subscriber, thank you so much and welcome back. This is part 3 of the 3-part series. In the first one, we talked about who goes to therapy. In the second one, we talked about how to find a therapist. So this is part 3. So you've done your homework, you've done your research, you've gotten your recommendations. You found a therapist who you think will work for you. You've called, you've made the appointment. So welcome to session 1. Due to some necessary formalities and introductions, it's important for you to know that session 1 is going to be a little different from any of the other sessions that are going to follow it. So here's what to expect and how to make the most of session 1. So keep watching.
Logistics. Therapist offices are usually not labeled with very large signs, so if you have not been there before, please allow for enough travel time and enough time to park your car before you settle into the waiting room. You may notice that your therapist has a small, comfortable waiting room which has white noise going on or music going on or a fountain. This is done to protect the confidentiality of patients. You may also notice that in your therapist's office, there may be magazines for you to go through. Look through these and look at the titles. They may give you an idea of what your therapist is interested in. Some therapist offices have a receptionist. Some have a call sign. So when it's your turn, please go in. Meeting your therapist. This will probably be the first time you're meeting face to face, even if you've communicated before. Your therapist will welcome you in, address you by name, shake your hand, and ask you to have a seat. Paperwork. This is one of the things that makes session 1 different from all the other sessions. Some therapists want you to show up early so you can read through and sign any paperwork. I, on the other hand, like to go through the paperwork with my clients. They include consent forms, a notice about confidentiality, and any policies that I have about cancellation and billing. Taking care of business. Speaking of billing, this is the time when your therapist will want to go over the consent form with you, but also to discuss payment. It's a good time to know what to do for future sessions. It's also a good time to pay and to take care of other business like session times and cancellations and timings and insurance, all at the beginning of the session. It helps prevent the awkwardness that would come once someone has had a very open session and then you have to talk about money. Let's keep the awkward out of therapy. The business part of therapy is now done. It's now time to get down to the first therapy session. Your therapist may start by asking you, so what brings you in today? Or how can I help you? What are your goals for today? There are very many different ways that different therapists will try to find out why you have come in. When you're asked about your life and who you are, don't plan to give a full autobiography of who you are. You don't even have to come in with written notes. Just start talking about yourself and give us a rough draft. You can go about this however you'd like. Just start with where you were born and then how moving forward, or starting with your current issue, moving back. There's no set way and no right or wrong way. So whatever you do, don't try to impress us. Just be you, because at the end of the day, we're there for you. This therapy session is all about you. Your therapist is there to help by asking questions. During session 1, you get a glimpse of how it feels to talk about yourself during therapy. You also get to see how well your therapist listens to you. Always come prepared with a notebook, because in this notebook, you're going to write down with your therapist any particular goals you'd like to achieve through therapy. This is your time to begin collaborating on a plan with your therapist. Your therapist may also ask you for some feedback and discuss some of the issues that you may have presented during therapy. So be prepared. Remember, it's not your job to watch the clock. Your therapist will tell you when your 50 minutes are done. Hopefully, at the end of these 50 minutes, you'll be less anxious about therapy and you'll be looking forward to the next sessions. Congratulations, you just got through your first session of therapy. Great job making that first appointment. When your therapy session is done and you've had some time to get home, now it's reflection time. It's a good time to take some time after this session to think about what was said and also how you felt. Did you notice any red flags? Did you feel comfortable being open and honest? Were there questions that you forgot to ask or information you weren't able to share? What do you want to talk about next time? Write all of these things down in that same journal. Okay, guess what? Your first session is done. You've sat down, you've reflected.
You've thought about whether you had a great session or whether you didn't. And now at this particular time, if someone asks you, how did your session go? You'll know whether to say that it was good or that it wasn't so good. If it was good, that's amazing. Then that means that you found a relationship that may continue to work for you and that you gelled. And that's definitely something to take with you, roll with it, and see where it takes you. If the first session wasn't as good for you as you thought, the first point of contact is the therapist, where you're going to probably contact the therapist and have an open discussion about what didn't gel too well for you, what didn't sit well with you. And a therapist should be willing to sit down with you and address all of your concerns and your issues and whatever it was that didn't necessarily click with you. You'll have a discussion. If the therapist, while you're talking, realizes that maybe the concerns that you brought up are beyond their scope, or they realize that maybe you're just not the right fit for each other, a good therapist will do their best to refer you to someone else. They might not have the contacts right away, but they should, as soon as possible, get in touch with you and try and figure out who to refer you to and hope that a relationship can build with whoever they refer you to. Just keep in mind that with a therapist, you are not stuck. You're not stuck, and you should never ever feel that you are. And I'm hoping that you find a therapist who lets you know that and doesn't make you feel like you're stuck with them now that you signed this document. You're not stuck. You didn't sign your life away. You can change therapists. You can absolutely do that. It is in your right to do that, because at the end of the day, this is about you, this is for you, and this should be all about you. It's about building a relationship. It's about trying to figure out how well you get along with the therapist. Because again, this is someone who you're going to be talking to about your highs and your lows, your great days and your not so great days, your happy times and your sad times. So it needs to be someone that you get along with and who you feel free with. So always keep that in mind. Remember, this was just about the first session, which is going to be different from all the others because you've already dealt now with the paperwork and the logistics, and all of that stuff is out of the way, and now you can get down to exploring who you are and where you want to go in life. I'm hoping that this video helped demystify session 1 for you. I'm hoping that it helped squash any anxiety that you had about session 1 or about seeking therapy, or that it completely got rid of any anxiety you may have had. I'm hoping that this helps you, and if it's not about you, I'm hoping that it helps someone else, a friend of a friend, a family member, someone who's been hesitant to go to therapy and who you want to recommend to go to therapy. They might benefit from watching this video and realize that it's not as anxiety inducing and crazy and scary as it is. Yeah, so I'm hoping you enjoyed this video. Please go ahead and like this video. Please subscribe. I'm sure you have, and if you haven't, I'm looking right at you and saying, please subscribe, just so that you know what's coming next and when it's coming. And that's all, folks. That's all she wrote. Take care. Sign up for therapy. Kudos if you made that first appointment. I'm hoping it was similar to this. And I wish you all the best. Take care. Hugs and love. Bye.